I'm what am I advertising for you now? You should be
So,
paying me.
right.
Uh,
So I
no,
just hit record.
it's
Yeah.
but what we were just saying. It's all about the work you put in. It's you really get in what you put out. You get out what you put in.
Yes, yes. And we were just talking about, so for anyone tuning in to the call after the fact, we were just talking about today's April 1st. I almost said today's April Fool's Day, but no, it's April 1st and April Fool's Day.
Mm.
But Superhost will get announced. I think it's usually the day after the um quarter, so probably tomorrow. Superhost will get announced. And then we were talking about guest favorites, which I did not know this as far as high review removal rates. If you're constantly asking for reviews to be removed, that's actually factored into Airbnb giving you that top 1, 5, or 10% ranking. But here's the criteria. So help article is 34.95, and then for Superhost, help article 829. And then David was just talking about how things have been going really well for him, so he hasn't had to remove any reviews, which that's the goal, you guys.
Just do everything that Emily tells you to do. That's the secret.
Well, and yeah,
So,
that
David, where is your property?
It's in Phoenix area.
Okay.
So this is kind of our high period right now. We just had spring training. The Phoenix Open was here back in February. So these couple of months are really when we've really got to make it because it's starting to get hot here, and we can already see that things are dropping off. We have nothing at all really for June, July, August when everyone else is probably going to be real busy. So that's it's just the way it is here. But they've been a great.
Oh, so it gets slower during the super
Yep,
hot months.
yeah. No one
Oh
really
yeah,
wants
because
to be
you
here.
all are like what, 110, 115 degrees
Yeah,
or
it gets crazy. I don't even want to be here. I won't be here actually during the summer. I don't want to be.
wow.
So we might even, depending on, if people don't book, we might just sort of close it down for a couple of months. I mean, Emily, is that sort of a common thing, or is there any negative connotations around that?
Yeah, I would say that there's more negatives than positives in that. So, I'll kind of touch on each point and my reasoning for why I would root for you to stay open. One being that this is an arbitrage for you, correct? Well,
Yeah,
okay. Regardless, you're paying rent,
yeah.
so always trying to get anything is going to be better than nothing. Um, Two, if you have a blocked calendar on Airbnb, you can fall out of the algorithm. So even if you're not getting bookings, it's still good to have your calendar open because people are still going to be able to see your listing and wish list it, view it, click on it, and all of those little things that are happening, that action is kind of counted towards the data of, oh, this listing is still being desired, even if you're not getting booked. So you still want to be pulling up, you want to stay relevant. Um,
Mm.
so I wouldn't block. I avoid blocking dates as often as possible, unless something's going on at the property that, needs repairs. So you want to stay open. And then my other suggestion for you would be to right now start trying to look for a midterm or longer booking. So for the summer months. So you're essentially wanting to connect with someone on Furnished Finder. This would be a good opportunity to call, maybe local hospitals in the area. Maybe they may be locating residents and give them, the rate of your rent, uh, utilities, plus maybe a little bit of profit. Um, or if you can find an insurance company like ALE Solutions, they house displaced families, so families who have a flood in their home and have to go, or maybe they're getting had fire, or even
What was the
sometimes
name of that company?
ALE Solutions. So let's look it up together. But I want you to start doing that now, to try to lock something in. And my other tip is that it's all a negotiation, right? Everything is a negotiation. So pricing, if you just want to get your rent met, so you're not coming out of pocket, and you just want to, make sure you have a good guest and that the home is occupied to keep the house, the pipes running, the water running, make sure it's not just sitting vacant, then negotiate and get a rate that you feel good enough about and take a little break for the summer. So this is ALE Solutions. Temporary housing. Um, Essentially, you can go to register a property. Oh, go ahead. Did you have a question? Someone have a question? Um,
No, no, I'm good. Just
okay. And then I haven't done this in a long time. I think you just fill all this out, honestly, and then hit submit. And then if you would like to learn more about how the landlord process works, visit the landlord FAQs. Obviously, we think someone ALE Solutions is likely going to prioritize a person that has multiple listings, like someone that can constantly feed them uh, deals, places for them to house their clients. So you can still try. It's always worth a try. And yeah, try to get a contact. You can call them and let them know, hey, I've got this property. It's beautiful, listed on short-term rental market, and they might have someone. The other thing,
You ever utilize furnished finders?
cut out a little bit there, Kelvin, but I think you asked about Furnished
I
Finder.
said, have you ever used furnished finders before?
Yeah, I've used it. And it's interesting. I'm getting tons of requests. I kind of did, oh, Calvin's probably gonna pop back in. I'll repeat myself if I need to, but um I was kind of just like testing something out and I opened one of my calendars for 18 months instead of just 12 months. So 18 months in advance versus 12 months. And out of nowhere, I started getting tons of requests for long stays. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Probably because people plan much farther in advance when they know they've got to stay somewhere for months at a time. So
Right.
then I was the listing that was pulling up. So kind of a fun little, I don't know if that will work for everyone. Um, but Kelvin, this is Furnished Finder. So basically what it looks like, you got to go through the listing your property, entering all the information, all your photos, make it look beautiful like we do on
Right.
Airbnb. And then people are going to submit an inquiry, just like on Airbnb. There's not really an instant book, I don't think. I might be wrong, actually. Um, I never had an instant book on, but people will really try to negotiate on Furnished Finder. Usually you might be located close to some hospitals, if I remember right, or even college
Oh
students.
yeah, it's a lot of hospitals in Tallahassee.
Yeah. Or college students that need a place, maybe between undergrad and graduate school or because you're close to the
Right.
college too. So this could be worth it for you. And a lot of times those people on Furnished Finder have stipends. And so they have a certain amount that they're given. And in those situations, a lot of time they're going to try to save as much money as possible because whatever they don't spend from their stipend, they get to put in their pocket. Understandable.
Right.
But you'll get a lot of negotiators on Furnished Finders. But I remember I had a property I was managing and we had it on Furnished Finder and I was getting like calls left and right. And I spoke with a Rockies player for the Denver Rockies baseball team.
Wow.
I didn't even think of that being, like there's athletes, there's nurses, there's all these types of people that come to an area, even for, I know spring training in Phoenix is in the spring, but maybe there's athletes that have to stay over the summer to train for fall sports or something in Phoenix. So I think it's worth it. It's worth it to try. You'll have to put in some effort because you get a lot of um, leads that don't always, add up to being a good fit, but it's a numbers game, if you put in enough effort and you get enough leads, something's gonna pan out. That's just my
And then
experience.
you will probably have to draw like a separate contract lease agreement for the midterms. That's not like a
Yeah, it's
traditional short-term rental
it's
scenario.
really easy to do because you have hospitable, right? I know
Mm.
Yes,
hospitable.
yes.
So in hospitable, you can just go down to they just moved everything. Where is my guest portal, guys? Operations. It all looks new. Okay, guest portal. And then you can do rental agreement and then create a rental agreement for, your property, which is pretty relatively simple to do a rental agreement. So, you don't necessarily just want to Google one. I do recommend, I think it's Marilyn Taylor has a lawyer reviewed contract. I always plug her. How do I spell her name? I'll think of it and I'll send it to you guys. But she has one on her website that you can, it's lawyer reviewed, and then you can just customize it. Or, pay $300 to have a lawyer uh, write you a rental agreement up. And honestly, I have here, in Colorado, if guests stay at your property for, I think it's 28 nights, they'll become a tenant technically, af anything after 28 nights. So even stays less than 28 nights, I still have every guest sign a rental agreement that has my house rules, hot tub rules. And that way, if they let's say they trash my house, I have more leverage in my air cover case because the guest signed the agreement. Um, and it just anytime a guest signs an agreement, they're probably going to be more likely to respect your space. I've had really good luck with having rental agreements. So with that said, don't let the um 30 plus day tenant situation intimidate you. Just make sure you have your bases covered and then you just create, it's so easy. Let's say you use a template from, her name is, I'll find it. But she has a lawyer reviewed template. You add all your information and then plug that in right into the guest portal on Hospitable, and it automatically sends to every guest, or you can manually send it to guests that have 30-night stays, and then same on Furnished Finders. Put it into DocuSign. You get like 5 free signatures on DocuSign. Send it through DocuSign, and it's official document at that point. So that's what a lot of landlords do, to be honest. Like you, as a landlord for long-term management, you can go Colorado landlord.
Right, each state has its own sort of standard form, right?
Yes.
You could potentially just use that one, right?
Yeah. It's probably similar. We all signed leases for our arbitrages. So, yeah, you could even use that as a base. So, go to the Florida lease agreement. Oh, it knew what I wanted. Florida lease agreement template. I would still, okay, I don't know what this is. I clicked on something random, but you get my point, right? Just a little bit of research and ChatGPTing and Googling, and you can probably find something. So that would
I am curious though. So you don't get any pushback from people when you ask them to sign this agreement?
I haven't. I think I've had maybe two out of the thousands of stays I've hosted across all of the properties for mine and management. And I've had like two people, one, canceled. And then I just follow up and I say, uh, hey, just saw you canceled your reservation. Is there any particular reason? And then that's when they say, well, I saw this agreement and I don't want to sign anything. And then you can waive the agreement in that case, or you can explain it to them, and take it case by case. I had another person respond just saying like, this is a little intimidating. I've never had to do this before. Can you explain it to me? And then in that situation, I just explained that, you can explain maybe your insurance requires it, which some short-term rental insurances do. Um, or, most people are pretty reasonable. And then if they decide that they don't want to stay because of the rental agreement, I'm not mad. Like I know I'll get rebooked and I probably didn't want that guest anyway because it's very likely were potentially going to be a problematic guest. Um, in my experience, and I have, quite a few stays that I can vouch that this is almost fact at this point, it causes very little friction, very little. So I think it's
Mm.
worth it. Yeah,
Good to
personally.
know.
So
Yeah.
how does that work on Airbnb? Is it attached? I guess how do you implement that into your listings on Airbnb and View?
Yeah, you have the right question. So, like I was kind of showing you here in Hospitable, so you'll have your rental agreement, and in your messages, so you have your pre-written automated messages, then
Right.
you'll just put a um, code. Where is it? I don't know where anything is now on here. My interface just changed. Um, Let me type it in here. You'll type in the short code. See if we can find the short code, just so that you guys on the call or watching later can see short code. Okay, so short codes. Let's try this one. Okay, essentially, it's not going to be this short code, but it looks like this. So it's a
Mhm.
short code that you put in your message. So if you type percent, uh, guest or rental agreement percent. That is the code for the rental agreement to show up automatically in your automated message. So let's say you have a confirmation message when a guest makes a
Right.
booking and it says, "Hey, can't wait to host you on this date. Here's check-in time. You'll get your door code at X time." And as you remember from our listing, we require our short code percent rental agreement, but it's going to show up as a link to the guest. And they'll click that link and it takes them to the hospitable guest portal. Um, and it's very professional looking. It'll say you are being redirected to hospitable.com. And the guest goes to the guest portal and they can read the agreement, they can read your house rules, they can purchase upsells. I've had guests purchasing insurance through Hospitable, and I'm getting a kickback from that through my guest portal. So it's really easy. And then they sign it, and you can go to then they're in your signed agreements. So now you can see here's all my guests that have signed agreements. And you can make sure,
Mm.
I have on my agreement, I have like a little line for the guest to fill out their reason for the trip. And so every, signed agreement, then I know, oh, guest Emma is coming to visit friends or, whatever. It's just the list goes on and on and on. So,
So,
um,
so
yeah.
you,
So Emma,
so
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, David.
sorry, Calvin, you go ahead. Sorry.
This is a different question, but I was just curious. How do you feel about like the value add from co-hosting? Because I know I think you do some of that as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. Are you asking, do you think it's worth it to have a co-host as some like
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
It
Because I
depends.
need a little boost because
Yeah.
I'm doing fairly decent with the weekends, but the weekday, I think that could help me because I mean, one, they're going to be more experienced, and two, I can probably learn some things.
Yeah.
So I'm considering that.
Yeah, that's a good question. And so here's my response. You guys know I never give like a short answer, so
Right.
stop me if you have questions. But um I am a numbers person when comes to making any type of business decision. And so if I plug into my um underwriting sheet, essentially factoring in my rent, my utilities, software expenses, and then I plug in my average nightly rate and my occupancy. It helps me figure out my projected earnings for the year. Then if I additionally add, a commission, because most co-hosts take a commission, there are some co-hosts that are going to take a flat fee. I don't always love flat fee for co-hosting because in my experience, I'm a commission-based co-host, and in my experience, I'm incentivized to get my owners' listings booked because I earn a commission. A
Right.
flat fee, if it's just a flat fee, let's say I took, $100 a month to co-host someone's property, I can sit back and do nothing and collect
Right.
$100. The client's probably not going to be happy, but
Right.
I don't have to care. Where a commission based, I do have to care. So um,
Right.
that's something to be wary of, and always, interviewing co-hosts. So you're going to want to factor in. So let's say, a co-host can take anywhere, I would say from 10%, I've all the way up to 25%, maybe more. So you want to plug in that expense into your underwriting sheet and help use that to figure out if that's going to put you in the hole. Then you're not only paying rent, but you're paying somebody to run your listing.
Right.
However, here's the caveat. A great co-host will not just be an expense. So a great co-host will be improving your revenue, improving your guest stays, which then is going to get you more bookings than if you were doing it yourself, and you're getting all of your time back, which is valuable. It has a dollar amount, in my opinion. Um, so some co-hosts will pitch you and tell you they're going to just run everything for you, but they're not going to pay attention to your pricing and revenue management. And they're just going to respond to guests or, make sure supplies are set up. You don't want a co-host like that because you're just going to end up paying them. Where you want to make sure that you find a co-host who understands and is a pro at revenue management, and that's
Right.
part of their commission. If they're not doing that, my guess is it's probably not going to be worth it because you're going to end up just getting everything taken off of your hands, but you're not going to see
Right.
it in revenue. Um, so that's my tip for anyone looking for a co-host is make sure that person is going to get you a better return on your investment. I have had potential clients that I don't ever take on a property if I run the numbers and I run the data and I plug those numbers in and I tell that person, hey, if you hire me, here's what I think I can do, but here's what the data says you can earn. It's up to you if you want to hire me. I can't guarantee that I, will increase your revenue for XYZ reason based on the data. And then they can make that decision on their own. So um, yeah, if you're just getting someone that's trying to just pitch you and take on your listing, they may not be the best
Right.
fit. Yeah. So
Yeah, I might need to reach out to you offline if you're still taking clients.
yeah, we can chat. There's definitely I don't typically manage in Tallahassee at this point in
Okay.
time. I specialize in the Colorado market. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but I can help refer you and help you get set up if you're looking for somebody.
Okay.
Trying to think if I have any contacts in Tallahassee. But yeah, let's chat and let's
Okay.
see how I can help you out or yeah.
Okay.
I think you have my email, but I'll
I
put it in.
think I do.
I'll put it in here just so you have it. Yeah, email me.
Okay. I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Um, David, I know you had a question. Was it anything related to Furnished Finder or did you have anyone follow-up questions on co-hosting at all?
Just when we were talking about the agreement, um, I know there's some do's and don'ts around what you can actually put on Airbnb, but
Mhm.
you can you can mention it there in your. I guess you have to mention it
Yeah.
um, in your listing, and
Yes.
and then when somebody books, you send them the as part of their confirmation, you send them the link. Okay, I just
Yep.
wanted to be sure of the um,
Yes.
how it works.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's 100% disclosing in your listing, Airbnb, VRBO. I don't know about Booking.com, but probably you want to, you can even copy and paste your rental agreement. It's essentially, in my case, it's my house rules and a few additional clauses. Um, but yeah, you can copy and paste it and then put a little disclaimer that says, this listing requires guest rental agreements, and you'll sign it on XYZ platform, just making sure Airbnb is trying to get away from guests feeling caught off guard or surprised. So exactly, putting it in your listing is going to be key.
And so you can put that on Airbnb that the link will take them to that they will be signing an agreement on hospitable, and
Yeah.
Airbnb doesn't have a problem with that there.
Yeah, and Airbnb and so Hospitable is a fully integrated property management system that is essentially, it's not a partnership, but they have I guess enough of a relationship with Airbnb where, they're an approved off-platform system. So it's, not against the terms of service to have the guest portal, the hospitable guest portal. So
Actually, I see Verbo are about to integrate as well, like sort of fully integrate, which would be nice because it's a bit of a pain in the ass to have to change everything on Verbo when, you know,
I know.
hospital will make it so easy.
Yeah, I know. It's taking forever, I feel like, but
Yeah.
I get it. I get that, the hospitable's working on their end to get that full integration. But yeah, it's going to make life so much easier to just be able to edit in one spot and not have to ever log into VRBO. I will be celebrating when that day comes, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just speaking of VRBO, I just got a VRBO booking today and I'm noticing I'm not getting notifications. So keep an eye on that, you guys. It
Hmm.
normally I what I so what I like to do, unfortunately, is go into VRBO and turn on text push notifications. So I'm getting a text from VRBO that says, "Congratulations, you just got a booking." And I'm not getting a pushed message in Hospitable that says, "Congrats, you just got a booking on VRBO." But um the message threads and the reservation are in Hospitable. I just have to manually go check it. So keep an eye on that. Make sure you're not getting, missing VRBO reservations. I'm sure that's just part of the connection issue because VRBO software and VRBO are just difficult. But to kind of as a backup, I prefer to turn on VRBO notifications so I get a text message just in
I
case.
think I have notifications, I have emails, my phone starts lighting up when I get a reservation. I don't want to
Yeah.
miss it, so I'm like, I'll take any kind of notification I can get.
Yeah. It becomes kind of a dopamine rush, especially when you're first starting out. You get used to that notification sound, and then you start going a few days without a notification. Your brain recognizes the sound, and you start,
Yeah,
you know, kind of,
it's
uh,
true.
yeah, looking for your next fix, I guess is the way to best way to put it when it comes to reservations. So, yeah, it's good to have your notifications on, and then it took me probably a year of hosting before I turned Airbnb notifications completely off, and I only have hospitable notifications on, or I would go insane. Getting double messages from various properties, but
Yeah,
eventually you'll get there where you turn off the Airbnb notifications.
yeah,
So,
we're
Yeah,
still,
I'm like David. I got every notification on the
yeah.
push, the email. I got because I don't want to miss anything for now.
yeah, because you guys are good hosts. I think honestly, like it's a good thing to be overly cautious than to be. There are so many hosts out there who never see messages from guests or, don't respond, till 24 hours later because they don't think about these things. We all in this group care. And I
I'll
think,
be
I
right
don't,
back. Okay.
yeah, I think it's a
Yeah,
sign.
it's definitely helped because I had a pretty, I would say, critical situation. One of the guests stayed at my property for their father's funeral. So they were
Mhm.
having guests come over and the air condition stopped running. And it's in Tallahassee and it started getting super hot.
Yeah.
So she let me know. So I was able to get a handyman over there. And we discovered it was a Freon leak, actually.
Oh
So he
God.
was able to put Freon in it and get, so we ended up having them to be able to be cool during the time. So she put that in a review, like he was very responsive, blah, 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 blah. So that helped. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know it gets pretty hot down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. That's not a fun. I mean, I feel like
It's
it's
not.
bound to happen every now and then with AC going out, and it's always going to be at the worst time, right? Like when you're
Yep.
hosting
And
guests.
part of the issue was, and the guy told me this happens in Tallahassee, lizards get in the compressor outside. So two
Hmm.
lizards had got in there and got fried, and it shorted out the system.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was
That's
pretty
wild.
interesting. Yeah. But the landlord has been great though, because we've had some major repairs and he's been good with getting stuff fixed. Because I've heard some stories, especially like big ticket items, because she had to actually replace the whole unit, but she was like, "Yeah, it was time." Because I think she owns a couple of properties in Tallahassee, so we
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
got it done like in a couple of days. I was like, "Ooh, that was a
Yeah.
big ticket item that she got done pretty quick."
Yeah, that is a good sign. I mean, my heart goes out to hosts who have a bad landlord because it can just make things
Yes,
miserable, you know? And same thing when I had our landlord, the water heater went out and we had someone out the next day and it was replaced within 24 hours. And that can result in an even better review than you would have got had the water heater not
right,
gone out, you know? And
right.
so that can be the tricky thing and with landlords. So yeah, you're in a good situation with that for sure. And my
And
advice,
she's in Australia too, so that adds another layer of complexity. But she's pretty responsible. She's actually in Australia, and she has a friend that lives in Tallahassee. But I
okay.
primarily communicate with her via WhatsApp.
Okay. Yeah.
But she's pretty responsive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, what is the time difference in Australia? That
it's a
is,
big difference. I forgot what the difference is. But like normally, if I send her a message, she's reading it probably about 6 p.m. our time.
yeah.
That's
Well,
sort of their
similar,
morning.
it's probably similar to Asia. So that would be, I think Asia's like 14 hours ahead of
Yep.
Mountain time. Yeah. So yeah, she's probably when it's your morning, it's her night. So that's
Yep.
but at
You
least she's
might see me pop off the screen real quick. I gotta plug my laptop in. I'm about to lose my battery. So let me
yeah,
do that.
no problem. Um, the only other thing I really wanted to go over today too, and this could be helpful to the two of you on the call. I just wanted to talk about CHBO as well. Um, Let me just gather. So we have Furnished Finder, CHBO, and we have ALE Solutions. So these are the three platforms. Um, so CHBO, this is for you, Kelvin, and David might have gone somewhere, and then anyone watching the call, of course. This is another platform you can list your property on to try to get a longer stay. So, month, 2 months, 3 months. There are deals to be made on sites like this, and I do think it's worth it to look into this program. But essentially, you know, you can pay, I think, like $100 to be in their premium. Let's see if it'll tell us. Um, I think, oh, let's see what their top cities are. I think, yeah, there's like a platinum subscription that you can pay CHBO and they'll prioritize your listing and help you get your
Hmm.
property booked faster, which could be worth it. Um,
Are they
I'm
related
just
to
curious.
VRBO?
Uh,
Sorry, I, are they somehow related to VRBO?
um, no, good question though, because they both have BO. So I think VRBO stands for Vacation Rental by Owner and CHBO is Corporate Housing by Owner. I don't know why they did that. I don't think that they're um, in partnership. I think they just kind of copycatted each other with their
Mm.
name. It looks like Phoenix is a top city for them.
Oh,
Uh,
that's good to know. All right.
yeah, and then let's see if Tallahassee. I don't see
It
Tallahassee,
looked
but that,
like that map.
yeah, it
Right.
doesn't mean you could always reach out to do a live chat
Okay.
and do a customer support and just say, hey, I'm in Tallahassee. Uh, I don't know where they get the top cities information. Maybe it's where they're doing the most corporate housing rentals, probably, but I don't think that means necessarily that they don't do listings in the other areas. So we could probably even search as a traveler. Let's do need housing. Let's just see Tallahassee. Let's just pretend like we need somewhere to stay May 1st to May 31st. And yeah, there's listings in Tallahassee. So I only see a couple. One. I see one. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Um,
And it's a two bed, two and a half, and they're charging 2,700 a month. Oh, I might need to look
mhm.
at that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
mine is a three, two and a half.
hmm I think it's worth it to look into. So, particularly in, the two of you situation, but for anyone struggling to get bookings or for anyone who, maybe is in a really busy season of life where you have some unexpected things come up, let's say, and you need a break from the turnovers, the guest messaging. These are really good options to kind of give yourself a break. And then for anyone looking to fill summer, in these really hot markets, both in, Florida, sometimes I think even Tallahassee can slow down in well, I don't know. I don't know about Tallahassee really. I know for sure Phoenix, Scottsdale are the summer months are the slow time. So starting now to look to fill because you can anticipate the vacancy. It's the worst when people, come to us and are like, hey, and it's June 1st and they're like, hey, I don't have any bookings for the summer. Do you have any idea why? And it's like, well, because nobody comes to Phoenix in, in summer
Mhm.
for vacation.
Yeah.
So in those situations, typically people end up kind of SOL, or they have to like really scramble. But you've got April and May to, work your butt off to uh get the vacancy filled. And then same, Kelvin, if you're just like, hey, I can't get these middle of the week days booked, the co-host isn't helping me or is not working out, if you find someone, uh, then this is a good option for you too. So, yeah.
Okay.
The I guess the only cons I can think of for these situations are you will lose a little bit of relevancy on the OTAs. So, because you have a long booking, you're going to have to block your calendar on Airbnb and VRBO. And like we talked about earlier, then your listing's not going to get pushed in email campaigns, and Airbnb is not going to show you on the first page because you're not available. So you will dip in search rankings. So once the midterm stay ends, you might have to regain traction on those platforms. So that's the only con I can really think of, but that doesn't mean you can't come back from that. So, uh, just making sure that, let's say, in the Phoenix market, let's say you get a Furnished Finder booking for June, July, and August, make sure your calendar is open now for September, October, November, so on and so forth, and
Mhm.
that you have that pricing optimized. So if you get those, let's say, you try to get September booked, you know, in June, that's a good thing because any early bird booking is a good thing. because the algorithm will see, oh, this listing is getting booked first. People really like it. People are choosing it first. So that will help you stay relevant in the algorithm. So essentially, you would need to go and look at your far out pricing and make sure you're not priced crazy high so that, you're not having to scramble for bookings. Um, Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, I think we have maybe a 10% early bird or something like that. Uh, when it's over, maybe 3 months out, 4 months out. I have to check on that.
Yeah, definitely worth it to kind of look into that and prepare um but yeah, those are the tips that I have for filling vacancies. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting. I'm sure there's other sites, you guys. There probably are. Just maybe I haven't used. And also, don't forget, people book midterm stays. I have a month-long stay right now through Airbnb. So people make sure your calendar, make sure you're available to be booked for 30 plus nights or whatever. Um, so you're coming up in search and then make sure you have month stay discounts. So, check your pricing and make sure you're not giving a 50% discount or something for a month stay. I just got an inquiry for a 3 month stay, and I think the person was like, they were trying to negotiate, but they wanted to pay like 25,000 or something. And I actually declined it because it's our busy season and we do better than that. So yeah, but don't write off Airbnb for midterm bookings because they're definitely there and there are people who are willing to pay.
I think we have ours maxed at 28 days or something on Airbnb, so I need to change that. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's an option to select. So let's say your tenant laws start at 28 days. If a guest stays for 28 nights or more, it becomes a tenant.
And yeah.
So you can make your setting 28 days for instant book, and then anything 28 days or longer, they have to send an inquiry. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So, because I don't want to get instant booked for a 6 month stay, because I need to make sure that the pricing is going to look right and I need to make sure the guest is going to, be a guest that I approve. So, I wouldn't allow instant book for anything past your tenant law for your
Is
stays.
that Senate, is that setting in hospitable? Is
It's
that a
in,
hospitable setting or is that in each platform setting?
I think you're going to need to go to each platform for that setting.
Okay,
It's probably inhospitable too, under the properties section. I
okay,
start with Airbnb and VRBO, and then if you go into hospitable and properties right here, you'll be able to see all the various settings right there too. So
okay.
it's, for now, sometimes I think it's good to just have the information how you want it, both in the OTA and in hospitable, just in case, your software becomes disconnected. It'll default to whatever's in your OTA. So that's what I like to do.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Any other questions? Otherwise, I can give you guys the rest of
I do have a general question. This is not about like midterm rentals, but like the comp set data. Can you do like a quick? I remember we used to go over like checking your area and what the comps are and creating a comp set.
Yeah. So, one way to do it is, if you want to just kind of see other listings in your area and do a really quick way to figure out your comps. Let's just say I'll do um, Arvada because I'm gonna have something to compare to. And I would typically search farther out, maybe a few months. Um, because it's less likely. Not all listings are going to pull up if they're booked. And typically the
Right.
best listings are the ones that are booked, and I want to make sure I capture those bookings because they're my
Okay.
actual comps. So this is one way to do comp setting, just using Airbnb. Otherwise, I typically use Price Labs. And then you'll type in your guest count
Mhm.
and if you accept pets. And let's just do that. So then this is one really quick and easy way to say well, where's my listing? Am I even, oh, I know why, because I hit three pets, I think. That's probably why. Uh, okay. Oh, I have a three. Oh, here's the other thing. Um, if you are selecting Saturday to Monday, you're not going to capture all the bookings because that's a 3 night stay. And properties like mine, for example, have a 4 night minimum. So you'll probably want to do a search for, 6 or 7 nights, and more listings are going to pull up if you're searching farther out. So here's my listing. I'll start close and I will see, okay, here's a property that's, just a street over. Here's a property. And then I just start clicking on them. And,
Okay.
then I look through them, see if they have, I wouldn't consider this a comp because I have, almost all 5 stars and this property has a 4.7. So this would not be a comp for me. So I won't compare my pricing to this property. Um,
Okay.
then, if I go up here, you can see I already have it wish list because it is one of, I don't know if this is a comp for this property or possibly a different property I have. But essentially, let's say this was a comparable property. It's got a similar um, guest, bedroom count and sleeps a similar amount of people. It's got similar amenities, design is comparable. Then I just go ahead and save it and create a wish list for Arvada, Arvada 3 bedrooms. That's one
Okay.
way to kind of start making a comp list. So you're almost
Okay.
acting as a guest and seeing what's out there. Um,
Right.
and that's going to give you a really good idea of what's going on in your market. And then another way to do it is to switch to hosting, go into your calendar, and then we're going to go here, click on our listing. And let's say I have, okay, so we've got these 2 dates open. Let's
Okay.
say I'm trying really hard and, I want to fill May 5th and 6th because it's a vacancy. It's a gap between 2 stays. I can highlight those 2 dates, and then go over here to
Mhm.
price per night, click similar listings, and Airbnb is going to tell me what other listings are also unbooked for those 2 dates. So this is a really good way to build your comp set because Airbnb is giving you the answers to the test. They're saying, here's who we compare your property to. Um, and then you can start clicking through these listings and wish listing them into a saved list and use those as your comps. So here's my pricing for those 2 nights and other properties. Let's see. Um, I'm pretty similarly priced. I'm not priced. I'm probably, no, I'd say I'm pretty average. I'm not the highest and I'm not the lowest. So, I feel good about my pricing there. That's one way also to look and see. Let's say this, my pricing was 400 and everyone else is in the
Uh,
twos and 100s, then I need to go adjust my pricing ASAP. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, so that's a really easy way. So, really quick again, you go into your calendar, click
Hmm.
on your listing, click, whatever dates are vacant. Won't let me X out of this. Let's say I want to see the weekend of May 22 through 24. Click price per night, go to similar listings, and then same thing. So it's reassuring to me that there's tons of properties that are not booked yet. That gives me a really, if it was me and 2 other properties that weren't booked, I'd be concerned. So that can give you peace of mind sometimes. So, with your weekdays that are struggling to get filled, if you're the only property in the area that's not getting booked for weekdays, that's concerning. But if you go and do this
Uh,
method and you're like, oh, nobody's booked on Tuesday and Wednesday, then
okay.
what I would do is say, okay, bookings are hard to come by during weekdays. I better make sure I'm the best price compared to all these other open listings for the weekday.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then you will get booked. It's like, I don't know, some sort of magic, but there's always someone, there's always a traveler. That's the cool thing about, I think, just investing in real estate and short-term rentals is Vacations are never going away, and there's always someone to fill a property, whether it's a local person who, I don't know, I've had crazy situations where it's like, hey, I need a place to book. My husband and I got in an argument. They'll just need somewhere to go stay
Right,
the night. And it's like, great, wonderful, come stay with us. There's
right.
always someone that's on Airbnb looking for somewhere to stay. So make sure you're not the highest priced during those
Okay,
weekdays, and that should help you, I would think.
okay.
So, yeah. Questions on that?
No questions on that. And then the seasonality
Mhm.
function where you can see like the seasonality in your market. That's price labs, right?
So the what you might be thinking of, sometimes I'll go on AirDNA and see there's like a
That
graph.
was,
Yeah, the
yeah,
purple, it kind of shows you like the light purple and the dark purple dates.
right.
Um, and that's like a really quick at a glance to see seasonality, but Price Labs
Okay,
can also show you that.
okay.
So yeah, definitely play around in Price Labs a little bit. And then um I don't know about if the AirDNA subscription through the 1%. I don't know if you guys have access to that.
Yeah, that's got kind of complicated because I think for a while they stopped the single sign-on. You had to do like a dual, and that kind of stopped us being able to use that one code.
I think AirDNA changed it back to being,
Oh,
I think they did. It might be worth, I don't know directly, just since I contract out for the
okay.
calls, I don't have all the inside scoop all the time, but
Right. Okay.
it's worth, yeah,
Uh,
worth asking in the circle, and Cassie or someone will get back to you, but it might be an option. Definitely worth looking at. So.
okay.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys being on the call. That's all I've got. Next week, I was hoping to talk about spring cleaning and summer prep. May not be the most helpful for Phoenix, possibly Tallahassee, especially if you've got outdoor amenities, which I know you do, Kelvin. I like to share systems on making sure it is a bummer to show up to a listing and have leaves all over or weeds, grass that's unmaintained and furniture that's dirty, that got dirty through the winter. So I like to talk about systems for maintaining that, which I was planning on doing next week. So
Well,
yeah. Otherwise, I'll see you guys, hopefully see you next week.
All right. Thank
all
you.
right.
All
Thank you.
right.
Calvin.
Bye, you guys. Have a
Thanks,
good
All
Evan.
right.
one.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
You too.